What is going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in on today's video. I'm Gabe, and today I've got a very exciting video for you guys because I'm going to be reviewing this beautiful 2021 Charger ScatPack Widebody. I actually did a poll last month, and a lot of you guys seem to like the idea of doing POV style reviews. So I'm gonna go ahead and test it out. I want you guys to watch this video not only for this beautiful Charger, but also so you guys can get a feel for what this POV style review is gonna be comprised of. But now let's get to why you guys came here. Not just for me, but for this beautiful, beautiful Charger. Let's get to it. Alrighty guys, so the 2021 Charger ScatPack Widebody. This is a very special car because this is going to be the first time that I introduce a Dodge on the channel. It'll be the first time that I POV drive it. It'll be the first time that I POV review it or review one. And we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of the differences between the wide body and of course the regular ScatPack. This actually is one of the few American cars, American sports cars really, that is able to maintain that level of excitement and thrill, and combine that with the comfort and the practicality of a daily driver car. So in reality, a car like this would be the ideal type of daily driver. I've actually reviewed the Chevy SS, which would be a direct competitor of this, but you know, that's been discontinued for the last, I would say, 8 years now. It's really cool that Dodge is still producing V8 rear-wheel drive cars for the enthusiasts that just want to take people around, whether they have kids or friends or just want something a little bit more practical than the Challenger. But the ScatPack name actually traces way back to the 1960s, and it even has a little bit of inspiration and origins from the well-known Frank Sinatra. And after the 60s and early 70s, the name kind of went dormant and Dodge wasn't really branding it and making it and marketing it as much. And then in around the mid-2010s, around 13 or 14, that's when we started to see it come back, and you know, the rest is history. Let's talk now about what the wide body comes with, or what is the wide body. So a ScatPack wide body essentially is a package that basically focuses on making this car handle a lot better and more of a track-oriented theme. So the first thing, and I think the most obvious thing of the Charger ScatPack Widebody, is going to be these enormous fender flares. That is the first thing that you'll probably notice and is the biggest differentiator from the regular ScatPack. And if we take a look at the side profile here, I mean, these are just so damn bulgy. We actually have these extended flares, or these bulging flares, to allow for this 305 up front tire and 305 in the rear tires, which is again part of that wide body package, to be perfectly flush with this fender flares. Now with the wide body, you're also going to get a 6-piston brake up front and 6-piston brakes in the rear. And that is, I think, one of the best upgrades that you can get aside from the flares as well. Talking about the car size, it is about 16.5 or 16.7 feet, and that is, you know, pretty large. That's basically the same size as a BMW F90 M5. And the last thing that comes with the wide body package is going to be a competitive sport suspension that has adaptive dampening. Now, all in all, the wide body kit is about $6,000. Look at this front, how aggressive it is. I mean, the grille, the lights, everything. I mean, this scoop right here in the middle, that's actually inspired by the Viper. And it just, you know, take a step back. I mean, this thing looks incredible. I absolutely love too the rear of the car. It is just so bulgy and aggressive, and I love how the diffuser and the exhaust tips also are pretty beefy as well to match that wide body muscular theme and look of this car. I mean, everything is great. I also love the fact that Dodge was one of the few companies that really stayed true to their origins and had this unified, and all they did was just basically update it and refresh it with these LED strips. And how can I forget to mention how gorgeous this car looks with this orange color. And it's not only just like a flat orange color, it also has a metallic flake to it as well. So I've been talking a lot about how this car looks, but really one of the key selling points is going to be how this car moves and what is powering this enormous vehicle, jokingly referred to as a yacht. In fact, this weighs about 4,400 pounds. Given the task to move this enormous boat, 4,400 pound vehicle is going to be the naturally aspirated 6.4 liter V8 engine, the 392 cubic inch motor, making about 485 crank horsepower and about 475 pound-feet of torque. So these are impressive numbers even in 2023. Paired to this very muscular and very big V8 engine is going to be unfortunately only an 8-speed automatic transmission. I wish they would have come out with a manual option. That would have been so cool to have this available in a manual. And of course, all of that is being sent to a rear-wheel drive setup. So again, perfect for having a little bit of fun, for getting loose, and just overall sticking to that American heritage. This 6.4 liter naturally aspirated V8 sends this gargantuous 4,400 pound vehicle in optimal conditions 0 to 60 in about 4.3 seconds. All right, so before we actually get situated in the interior and we take this beautiful car out on the road, let's get a sound and exhaust clip of that naturally aspirated 6.4 liter V8 engine. It sounds so good, but you didn't come here for just some soft startups. I'm gonna give you some revs right now. You can definitely tell that this is the 392, the 6.4 liter naturally aspirated V8. It has that very, deep, crispy sound. But let's go ahead and take a step inside in the interior, which I'll say right off the bat is not as extravagant nor as eye-catching as the exterior components like the wide body kit and of course that gorgeous orange color. And well, right off the bat in the interior, I'm gonna adjust myself here, you notice that it is very plain. I'll be very frank, it's very plain, and I know that you can actually have these specced out to have dual tone color, and with this ScatPack wide body kit, you also get the suede Alcantara feel, which feels awesome, and it also looks very nicely. This one obviously is the solid black. These seats are extraordinarily comfortable, and they have some good support here with the bolsters. Also, the design of the seats are very cool. They're very large and very sporty. These are more of a, I would say, like a GT cruiser type of thing. They're not really like bucket seats. You also have the ScatPack B right there stitched on. I wish it was actually more on the headrest so you can, see it and it be a little bit more apparent. I'll be honest, the steering wheel is very much plain. The only redeeming factor of it is that it has a sort of flat bottom touch to it to make it a little bit more sporty. Obviously, you have all of the settings here, cruise control, functionalities in terms of like audio. That's actually behind over here. You also have the paddle shifters readily available here, but these are kind of like the non-metallically clicky. They're like plastic. Yeah, it doesn't sound very cool. Feels okay though, so it has a pretty decent feedback to it. But aside from that, the steering wheel is, whatever. I really like these gauge clusters. These are very good font with a nice, red and white color combination. I like that there's no separation. I love how it's all like one piece. And, that's pretty cool. But I don't like that it has like, kind of like this weird silver finish. This is like not that cool. So it doesn't look really nice, and it kind of looks like any other like SUV or normal traffic type of car. You also get this screen here that obviously has access to the infotainment system. You can change the languages, all of the display, the settings. In the drive modes here, you have the different settings: track, sport, custom, and auto. Auto is basically the most relaxing, most eco-friendly, the more chill type of mode. You'll see that everything starts to turn on, transmission goes eco. You actually can change these to be track, street, or sport. You can actually, on the race options, control the launch controls, at what RPMs do you want the launch to be happening. So I think originally from factory, this one had it at 1300. I was able to play around with it and bump it up to, like, let's say 3000. Also, line lock is also a feature that you can have and access here in this car. You're gonna see that there's also different measures that you can control. So over here, you can mess around with the fuel economy, the performance. It gives you the different measures, the G's that you're pulling. Also, it can record 0 to 60 times, lap times, if you decide to track the car. Mustangs have the Camaro LT1. Those are all cars that will probably be hanging around this car. They all have those features as well. Now, before we go to the rear space, I want to just talk a little bit about how freaking spacious this car is. To take that saying, everything is bigger in Texas, I'm gonna make it more about Dodge. Everything is bigger with Dodge. I mean, you can't feel claustrophobic with this car. There's just so much area and space. It's wonderful. And if you're a bigger guy, I'm definitely not a bigger guy. I'm about 6'2" on a good day. You know, I fit perfectly here. I didn't really have to even change the settings for the driver of the car. He's like about 5'8" or so. So let's go ahead and talk about the back seats. So the back seats are obviously an extension of the driver and passenger side in the front, and you'll have that same level of Alcantara suede material and pattern. You also have, of course, a cup holder and armrest down here. As it stands, my headroom is pretty good. Actually, it's really good. I have literally about 3 inches of space of headroom and about an inch or so of legroom, but of course this can always be moved up. So definitely, if you're about 6'2", 6'3", definitely you don't want to be putting a 7-footer back here, because that's pretty messed up. And of course, this car also has AC settings that unfortunately is not given 100% control of. You have to control it if you want cold over there, but this does have heated seats. So for all my winter birds out there, if you're up north, this is something that's definitely going to keep your passengers nice and warm. Little cubbies over here on the side. So I mean, there's really not much to talk about, guys. It's very much comfortable back here. We're back out here again just to document how the space is back here. So I am not gonna get inside because he has a Milwaukee toolkit here that's kind of heavy. And well, I can just say without a shadow of a doubt that I can fit curled up in a ball back there. So I'm pretty sure that you can fit a lot of things back here. All right, guys, so we talked a lot about the performance, exterior, and interior characteristics. Now let's take this car out for a drive. And before we do so, let's see how this camera is. Look at how horrendous that is. Let me step out into the light just a little bit so you guys can see, but damn, that is mid quality. So what better way to kick off the driving portion than with a little bit of launch control action? We're gonna leave it on track mode for the sake of the beginning, and of course to make it a little bit more entertaining for everybody. Obviously, track mode enhances the transmission response, the paddle shifter response as well. The traction control is also disabled. Suspension and steering is stiffened to obviously account for that sharp turning. Let's go ahead and set up launch control. I think I want to bring it down to maybe 2500. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Well, all right then. So, wait, before I give you my comment, let's... Let's check the 3-point turn. Well, not 3-point, but the turning radius. Ooh, perfect. Okay, so we just did a lot of things at once, and let me go each by each. I don't know, the launch control definitely needs to be worked on. I have to work on my launches, obviously. Definitely, we're not gonna be able to hit that sub 5-second 0 to 60 time in this video. But when you take off, and I came across that first turn, it still feels very much like you're driving a boat. Even though this is the competitive, adaptive, dampening suspension, which is specific to the wide body package, it still feels like a very, very heavy car. And it's not as confidence inspiring, But I will say that it does feel very planted to the ground. It's just not overly precise. And there's that, you know, body roll and that sense of like that transfer of weight. It's just a little bit much. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't remedy that with, you know, coilovers, dropping the car a little bit, even getting some sway bars. Adding that would definitely improve the cornering aspect of it. And that was a very sharp corner too, and you know, I'm still getting used to it. So we're gonna actually get on the highway now, and we're gonna see a very long turn, and we'll obviously test out some other situation. We're definitely gonna see some more of that now. So I'm gonna leave it on manual mode because I love how responsive the shifts are. Yeah, here it's obviously very much easy to do. I'm very, very impressed at how quick these shifts are. I mean, it's obviously not PDK fast or DCT fast on, I would say, the BMWs, which are competitors to this, but oh my gosh, for an American muscle car, these shifts are on point. I mean, it's really fascinating how there's very, very, very small percentage of lag when you, I mean, it's so addicting. I also really like it too, how it's not necessarily like a smooth shift. It's kind of like a clunky, like pushback. And I like that because it kind of gives you that imperfect feel of upshifting with a manual transmission car, when obviously you're not like no lift shifting, but it feels really, really good. And it kind of gives you like that sports kick feel. Yeah, man, I that is good. All right, so we're coming downhill. I'm gonna do a quick brake test here. And that wasn't really pushing down on it, really locking the brakes. It still feels like it's not enough to stop this thing. I mean, 4,400 pounds, including 200 pounds of me. I get it. There is quite a difficult task on its hand to come to a complete stop. But I'll tell you, Brembos are good brakes. And look, I can't even imagine how the brakes would be on the 4 pistons that come with the regular ScatPack. That must be an absolute nightmare. I would upgrade those immediately. These, I've heard that they have a lot of problems in terms of like releasing a lot of brake dust, but I don't really hear too much people talking about the braking capacity. And mind you, that wasn't a very aggressive stop per se. And it doesn't feel like it could really stop. God, I love that sound, man. That unique exhaust note to Dodge performance vehicles. It's just great. Oh my gosh, dude. So I'm gonna try to stay on the outer part here. Oh my God, all right, yeah. If you let off the accelerator, oh, yeah, that feels really good. It is tight, but I feel like because, hold on, let me catch my breath. So the steering on track mode, which is obviously the more precise one and gives you more resistance, it's not as direct as I would say another car, like let's say an M3 or something like that. You know, this you kind of really feel the rest of the car not moving along with it. Oh my God. It is so damn torquey down low, Jesus. Relax, buddy. Oh my God, dude. It is so crazy how inside of the cabin you really don't feel how fast you're going. And that's dangerous, man. That's dangerous because you really don't realize it. So how does it drive on the highway compared to the city on track mode? Well, honestly, it drives, I would say, very much similar to automatic mode, which immediately when you switch on automatic mode, especially on the highway, it is so noticeable. Everything just loosens up. The transmission, the exhaust even kind of feels like it dies down too. It's night and day difference, and of course that's the whole point of it. And in terms of, like, you know, feels like you're driving any other regular sedan. I'm really impressed with the turning radius on this car. I feel like on my Camaro it wouldn't be nearly as good. So let's give it an acceleration with eco mode. Yeah, it doesn't completely castrate the car, but it does well. It does well, and obviously you can adjust the different modes and the settings that you would like to do under the custom one. But let's go back to track mode because, you know, we like to keep things fun around here. Oh my God, it's so torquey. That's... I freaking love those kicks, man. A lot of the times sports cars are very fluid and they don't provide that same feedback, and I just love it how this car does it so easily. All right guys, so now let's test it out how it is on the road driving very conservatively with track mode enabled, which is again the most intense suspension setting and basically setting for the whole car. Right off the bat, it is very sensitive to any sort of imperfection on the road. However, it's not very uncomfortable. Just because you feel it doesn't mean that it delivers such a powerful blow. For example, right now I'm on manual mode. Let's switch it over to D. See how the the transmission behaves. Obviously the power is readily available to you. All right, so now we're getting some stop and go traffic. Very smooth shifts, not much kickback. Kind of just feels like you can drive this car like any other normal car, except you have that roaring, muscular, harmonious V8. Yeah, I gotta say, it's very much daily drivable, and right now, again, we are on the most intense setting possible. So I said that the gas mileage on this car would be about 15 in the city and 24 on the highway. I'm gonna tell you right now, you gotta be a saint to be getting those numbers, because this is looking like it's about 11.5. That weight transfer situation is going to definitely, I would say, sober you up, because it's something that I truly haven't really experienced with the other super sedans or sports sedans like I've driven, like the Chevy SS and even the BMW M5, but you know, that's a whole different conversation. Oh my God. But you know, it's still a lot of fun to drive though. All right guys, so we finished parking the car. Now would be a great time to finalize this review. And boy, was this an overall awesome experience to finally be able to drive a Dodge, a performance Dodge Charger, a wide body Scat Pack. I gotta say that overall, I'm pretty content with this car. If I were to rate this car, I definitely would give it a 7 out of 10. And the reason why I would give it a 7 out of 10, and that's a really harsh number, I agree. The thing that really turned me off about this car was that weight situation. And it just makes it seem like something that is supposed to be fairly easy to drive. You know, 305 tires, sports suspension, automatic. One, you know, soft brake or one let go of the accelerator, and all of that weight transfer is just throwing you off, and that's where accidents happen. So even though this car isn't equipped with a supercharger like the Hellcat, you still have to be very, very mindful when you drive it, because it's just not as precise as I would like it to be. It really does feel like if you were like standing with your legs close together and someone pushes you, you're more than likely to fall. See, the moment that you add coilovers and you add, you know, some sway bars to really make sure that this car is precise and planted, maybe not push planted, but the moment you do that, it would be like opening up your legs like that and then people pushing you, and now you are in better control. The brakes are whatever. I think, again, because this is such a big car, it's not as effective as I thought it would be either. But again, you can always get Power Stop or any other brands out there that are better for that. Brembos are good, but I feel like they're good just enough for this. So I don't even want to know what the Hellcat is like I mentioned earlier. But guys, that's pretty much it. I mean, aside from that, the exterior look of this car is actually my favorite part of it, especially with that orange color and that gunmetal gray. This just looks so good. It just really steals and captures your attention. But guys, let me know your opinions on the Charger Scat Pack wide body. Is it worth it to you guys? Because for me, it is, but you still have to do just a little bit more to really make this car effective for the track like it's supposed to be. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like. It helps out tremendously with the algorithm. If you enjoy my videos overall, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and last but not least, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you are part of notification gang and you don't miss any of my POV reviews, POV drives. Guys, stay tuned for the next video, which is basically me driving this car POV, but no talking, letting the car do all of that. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.